In a significant initiative, Gun-Free South Africa has launched the Removing the Trigger campaign in Manenberg, situated on the Cape Flats. Now, this aims to bolster the rights and the safety of victims affected by firearm-related domestic violence. The launch occurs amidst escalating gun violence plaguing various areas like Elsies River and Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats. Our reporter Vanessa Poonah has more.
The issue of gun-related domestic violence comes under the spotlight this morning at the SABC Barkman Centre here in Manenberg on the Cape Flats. This, of course, as various organisations, including Mosaic and Gun-Free South Africa, collaborate to launch the Removing the Trigger campaign. It's a national campaign, and joining me now to explain what it is aimed at is Mosaic's Karen Reese. Karen, a very warm good morning to you. We are here at the SABC Barkman Centre. You are about to launch this national campaign. Let us start with what Removing the Trigger aims to do.
So the campaign really aims to raise awareness about what gun-related domestic violence is. That we're not just looking at the killing of people, but we're actually looking at the use of guns to control and coerce people into keeping quiet or doing things they don't want to do within a domestic violence setting. The campaign really aims to strengthen the state's response to making sure that those guns are removed, but also that community members are aware of what provisions are available under the law to increase their safety and have those guns removed in domestic violence settings.
You talk about, what victims can do. I mean, we know that, and organisations such as yourselves and Gun-Free South Africa have been at the forefront of firearm control, ensuring that legislation actually works. Now, we do know that just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was out in Leonsdale, an area in Elsies River, where a 34-year-old woman, a mother of three, was shot, although in this case, it is suspected gang violence. So, when we talk about the proliferation of firearms, it is still a huge concern. About a month or two ago, issue around firearms having gone missing from the Mitchell's Plain police station. So, in a society where it seems as though firearms and guns are freely available, they are in communities, how then does this conversation try or start to add to existing measures to protect women from gun violence in the domestic setting?
So this particular campaign really focuses on the laws that currently exist for domestic violence. And that is the Domestic Violence Act, which makes provision for the court to order for a firearm to be removed by the police where there's domestic violence. We know that currently either a court is not ordering for that to happen, or when they do order for it to happen, the police actually don't remove the firearm. So we wanting to make sure that it actually does get removed, and there's responsibility placed on the court to make sure that it is removed. So that's the one part. The second part is we want people to know that there is a way to have those guns removed. Now we know that there's a whole nother conversation to speak about in terms of illegal guns that are in the sphere, but for this particular campaign we're focusing on where people know that there are guns available that is impacting their safety, and the court has a mandate to remove them. So that's the focus of this campaign. But we're hoping the campaign will also raise awareness and a greater focus on the issue of gun availability and how freely available firearms are in our communities.
Your partners in this campaign, I understand Gun-Free South Africa is one of them, also the National Shelter Movement, and then also where does this campaign go? I mean, so from today, after the launch, where does it go?
Yeah. So we're wanting this to be a collaborative campaign. We are calling all civil society organizations and even members of the public who have experienced gun violence in domestic violence, or if they are working within the domestic violence field, to join hands with us to A, raise awareness, but B, also help us to understand what does gun-related violence look like. We have some of the highest rates of femicide in the world, we have high rates of domestic violence, but we actually don't have a clear picture of what gun-related domestic violence looks like. So that's one, we're wanting to understand what that looks like, and we can only do that through partnership. So ultimately, we are calling on everyone to get involved. Our contact details are available. They can contact Gun-Free South Africa or Mosaic, and get in touch, see how you can get involved to raise awareness.
Because that was going to be my final question to you before you get underway, is a woman in a home where there is domestic violence, she knows that a partner has a weapon or a firearm in their possession, and she may be fearing that this may escalate, the domestic violence may escalate. So who do they reach out to? Would it be SABC first? Who do they reach out to in such a situation?
So there's two places. The one is to go and report a case of domestic violence at the police station, but the other is to approach their local magistrate's court, go to the domestic violence section and apply for what's known as a domestic violence protection order. Within that protection order, they can ask the court to have a firearm removed. The magistrate can then order police to remove that firearm. So at least that is taken away. And the Act makes provision for this to happen whether it's part of their employment, the abuser's employment or not. They can have their firearm removed. So that would be my first. The second would be reach out to an organization like Mosaic where you can receive support and counseling for the abuse that you're experiencing.
Karen, thank you so much for your time. Of course, Karen Reese there from Mosaic speaking to us at the national launch of the Removing the Trigger campaign. It's taking place here in Cape Town today.